Alright, guys, here we are. The very first episode of the Dark Side podcast. A bit of a management themed episode, I would say, but same household names as you would know. Let's introduce ourselves around the table, starting with you, Matt.
How we going, everyone? I am the owner and or one of the owners and the founder of Darksided, joined with my lovely board of management here.
Cool.
Yeah, hi, I'm Max. Thanks for the quick handoff there, Westy. Very professionally done.
Oh, man, you gotta think quick.
You got to think quick on this one. Like Westy said, he's not one of the only owners here. He alluded to that. I was also one of the people that helped start up this amazing adventure that we found ourselves on called Darksided. And Steve, who are you? And you can't say look good and do nothing.
Well, yeah, because I no longer look good, and I no longer do nothing. But I'm still Steve, so that's all you need to know.
We did it, man. We did it.
Regular Steve. And who are you, Deadline, in the corner there? Who are you, mate?
Yeah.
And moving on.
Just a little something in the corner. They call it a general manager, but I think really it's just something too specific these days. So.
Yeah.
Yo, straight off the bat, Max, why is your eagle upside down? What are you talking about?
Oh, sorry.
Yeah, that's fair.
Hey, we fixed it.
There you go.
Dude, that didn't last very long at all. We set that up and we were like, oh, I wonder how long is that going to take? Like, how long are people going to notice? Did not, what is it, like
I don't
3
think it was
minutes?
worth the gag.
It's the effort that counts sometimes, you know?
Yeah.
Even though it's
It was a
really,
cute
really
little
low
gag.
effort.
Pretty easy to notice when, it gets brought up by Steve, so, you know.
No, it wasn't brought up by me. I read it from the chat. What are you talking about?
Alright, fair, cool.
Your voice,
I got to pay some attention.
Dave's in the chat.
Because we're definitely
you-
going to be taking some questions, guys. So all throughout this podcast, forever how long it goes for, throw those questions in and we'll take them.
Yeah.
First thing I want to say though, what's everyone sort of been up to? What's been the latest with DS and just life in general?
Myself jumped into the world of working full time today. So if you
Welcome.
follow me on Twitter, you would
He's
notice
24,
that I
guys.
have.
He's just hit it.
I've been living at uni for too long. Yeah, did my first day as a grade 1 teacher today, so that was very interesting.
Oh,
Really good
that's
day.
right.
Did
You had the
you-
first day with kids, right? How'd they go?
Yeah,
Did you
that's
get them
a
all
lot.
to follow Darksided
Yeah.
and stop the Terminator?
Create some Twitter accounts and follow. No,
Yeah,
it was
dude.
really good. Like last week we were doing a lot of stuff at the school, but it was really good. Got to meet the parents. I didn't have any parent ask me like how old I was or how long I've been teaching because I was worried that they'd catch me out.
They would just fucking sniff it out on you. But you're
Yeah,
like,
it was really good. Had a good day. It looks like it's going to be a good week. Good time.
Yeah.
hopefully.
Did you spread the message of esports? Like,
Nah, not yet, mate. I'll wait
Did
till
you
that
clause in
technology
early?
class
Just
rolls
like-
around.
There's an eagle in your classroom somewhere, right? Actually?
yeah,
Just
surely you have a sticker
the
or
next
a piece of merch.
generation.
Yeah.
Yeah, one of the
Starting-
kids will ask me, "What's this animal?" And I'll be like, "That's the dark side of the eagle."
And this bird is an eagle, but sir, that's not an eagle.
God.
Ah,
I'm now
yeah,
really
like that.
worried about year 1 students in Queensland.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
Tell
I'm
me about
teaching
it.
the future. Yeah.
Oh, Deadline, you doing some alt tabbing there, are you, brother?
Look, just cleaning up a few things on the board there. Getting it nice
Yeah,
and clean.
dude.
Yeah, Max, hit us up. What's been going on?
Yeah, busy, dude. Real busy. The Microsoft life is not easy. The
Yeah.
classic wake up at 5:30, get home at 7. Life is really catching up on me, but it's worth it. Got a lot of really cool things in the works. If any of you guys are local to Sydney and know where the Microsoft store is, I recommend heading on down on the 27th of this month for some
Ooh.
cheeky little fun. Nothing as we like to do at Darkside, a little announcement. Maybe chuck some
Oh,
eyes
those
in
are
there.
my favorite.
Yeah, right? That's basically what Darksided was built on, is pre-announcement announcements. We
Oh, yeah.
build up hype, and then the hype is better than the actual content. So
Sometimes
that's like
it's
a
just
trick,
about making noise for attention.
right?
Yeah, that's
Like,
right.
and I think that's esports in general, which is why we're doing so well.
Right, right.
But yeah, other than that, yeah, it's been pretty good. Steve,
Cool.
yourself,
Cool.
man? How you
Me?
doing?
Me? Oh, nothing out of the ordinary. We went interstate last week on a bit of an adventure, so that was pretty fun. I was supposed to go to a fighting game tournament on the weekend. I stayed home and grinded the division instead because priorities.
Ah,
Gotta get those
nothing
drops.
Too wrong with that. in my
Gotta get those drops. No, I accidentally fell like real deep into that game. I gotta get out. But yeah, nothing. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah,
I don't want to talk about it. Let's not talk about it. Like,
I want to talk about Division. We got Division when it first came out, Matt, and we were really excited to play together. And then what happened? You just stopped coming on live.
I was on that Tinder grind, and
Yeah, you were fucking hard. I got left in the dust. I remember Destiny. Do you remember when like the Nightfalls first came out, and I had the Icebreaker sniper rifle?
come
and
on,
I'm like,
bud.
all right, we're gonna go through this,
Wrap
and
it
at the
up.
end of it, he had like 20 kills out of 130. It was embarrassing.
Yeah, I remember. It was all too good.
Yeah.
Can't talk about
All right. Well, look. I'm doing all right. Pretty stock standard stuff really for deadline. I work at office works as well, so the hours are pretty strong.
I mean, new job, new car, new deadline, man. 2018.
Yeah, didn't you just buy a new car today? Tell us about that,
Walk out
brother.
The dealership,
come on,
keys
tell
in
us
hand,
about
lads. What's going on there?
Yeah,
Tell
can
us
you
about it, mate?
No,
I want to
just-
hear about a first car buyer's experience.
Just just
keep
a couple
it short,
of
let's
wheels,
go.
mate, that's all we're saying. Look, I want to move on to something here a little bit actually, because we have been taking questions in the chat, but I want to start things out by actually portraying what this podcast is even about, because really, coming into it, we want our viewers to know, what kind of vision we have in terms of the podcast and where we want to head with it. So, I mean, first things first, right? Like, this is something that we just don't have enough of, really. Just the free-flowing live content, which, I mean, if anything, it's lacking, really, in Australian esports. And no one here, ourselves or anyone really, is an excuse to that. So, yeah.
Yeah, I think what we're trying to do is, the premise for this, if you're watching or in the chat, or if you're rewatching the VOD later on, is we kind of want to just make this a fortnightly thing that we premiere on Twitch, where you guys can interact with the chat. And we kind of just talk about the happenings of Darksided within that 2-week period, whether that's Darksided specific or anything to do with esports. So,
Yeah, definitely. And outside of that vision, obviously we want to do more for our viewers, like our live viewers and stuff, to encourage you to be here. So if you have any ideas and you want to pitch them to us, just let us know. I
know you have something to kind of spur that along, Steve.
I mean, I always have something, I always got the ideas, but
just something
you want to tell them about it? You want to tell them?
Yeah. So as I'm sure a lot of you who follow the Australian esports scene really know, is that one thing that a lot of orgs have is a nice, catchy, trendy hashtag. And to kind of avoid going down the line of embracing, Darksided as, Dark Side of the Force, doing something cliche like hashtag join the dark side, we really didn't want that to be associated with our brand, because it's not from Star Wars. It's just, something that we thought up with back in the day. So we wanted to, we've been brainstorming for a while what we could have as a hashtag that wasn't Star Wars related. And Steve had a good idea of essentially, making it an open forum, because you guys have a lot of great ideas. A lot of great content comes from just an open mic, essentially.
Yeah, definitely.
yeah, I mean, every time I sit down and try and think of a good hashtag for Darksided, it just
Yeah.
Yeah, no, I'm not a fan of that one. So I think the competition that we're gonna just impromptu announce right now, right, is that if you have a hashtag, tweet us at Darksided with your hashtag. We're gonna pick the best one, and you're gonna get some merch, right? We'll do a t-shirt and a hat or something. So hit us up at Darksided. Include your hashtag. You have to beat my one, and I'm not gonna tell you my one. So I'm really interested to see if someone also gives the same one as me. So
I don't like your one, Steve.
You don't like it?
Nah.
Well, I'm gonna tweet it and we're gonna see who wins.
Yeah. So in short, guys, throw us those hashtags. I want to see what's going on. No dark side. Join the dark side or anything like that.
What are you talking about? It's the best one.
All right.
I told you, I'm Mr. Darkside. That's my vote. That has my vote.
All right, cool.
You get a piece of merch straight from me if you win.
I want to talk. Let's move this podcast along a little. Let's
go for it, mate.
Let's go into some old news. So the idea here, fortnightly podcast, we sort of cover things that's been going on. I want to start things off hot. Spud, bro. Spud, he's in America, touchdown.
Spuddy
He's
is
hot.
my
Man's
buddy.
not hot this weekend, man.
Oh, man.
Westy, what's been going
Spuddy
on?
is my buddy.
Buddy.
Well, I was actually
my
privileged
buddy.
because
I actually hate that hashtag.
What?
No, it's so
Just
good.
don't
It's
like
the
it
best
because your
hashtag.
boy came
You know
up
all
with
the all the guys close to him and all like the guys on Twitter use hashtag I stand with Jiren Pride Trooper, which is from Dragon Ball Super, but he also like sees himself like that character, and so they all use it. And I'm like, that's pretty cool. We could just like tag along with that. And you guys are like, Spuddy's my buddy, like
good,
put it up there.
Alright, if you're watching, the origin of that came from when Spud was playing at OHN and BAM, and we would get all the FGC boys like Street Fighter guys and stuff to come over and support Spud. And Baxter, one of the greatest characters within the scene, just
one of the
starts
most
yelling
obnoxious people.
like starts hurling the funniest chants, and yeah, one of them was just Spuddy is my buddy, and like this intense grand final moment, and it just stuck.
It was
Well,
right.
it stuck with
right
a
for the
few
moment.
of us.
It was
It
good.
was perfect.
Yeah. And
Anyway.
3 out of the 4. If you can tell, 3 out of the 4 of us like to have fun, so that's why we like.
I am not about fun.
So
Yeah.
Matt, I want you to lay out for us what exactly has been going on with Spud here, because it's some big stuff, and we've got to get a scope of it all.
Alright, so Spud, pretty much about 2 weeks ago, embarked on his North American journey. Started off in Seattle. So in his time, like he'll be coming home soon, but in his time over there, he attended Emerald City 6 and Genesis 5.
Yeah.
So Emerald City 6 is considered like a tier 2 sort of event. It's a national local, so it doesn't have the heavy hitters from like Cloud9 and TSM, but it has a lot of local talent, which is good. And Spud managed to come third out of about 200 to 300 entrants, so really good. And did really well in doubles too. And then just the other day he finished his Genesis run where he came 65th out of 1,300 plus entrants. So the match was nail biting close. He was on last stock, tied up series. Both players over 100% on their HP. And he was versing I can't remember the name, but he's from Team Liquid, who is
Liquid Chew.
Okay.
Chew that. And he's
Shoot that. Isn't
power
that
ranked,
guy
like,
from
11.
the like dude's from the what do you call it? He's from the Smash Brothers documentary.
Yeah. So Spud
Oh, wow.
Spud lost like the series of the year against him, so it was
The
nuts.
series of the year? I look at my
Yeah,
calendar,
like-
it's the 22nd of January, and I'm like,
Yeah.
interesting, thank you,
That's
Westy.
That means that it's more accurate.
Smash
'cause the
Brothers
year's only been
connoisseur,
going-
interesting.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that makes it more
it's
accurate because the year's only been going on for a little bit, Steve.
Come
You're
on,
right.
Steve. Tell me
So
another better series.
I mean, I'm not saying there was
Let's-
a better
let's,
one, it probably was the series of the year,
Yeah.
you're right.
Yeah,
Yeah, and I
it's
mean,
done.
for someone who, my experience with Smash being like just about everyone's childhood game, I would say, like just such a staple for so many people. But I mean, it's just so fun to watch, right? Like you look at those percentages, you look at just the speed, like the speed of melee is just so quick. Like it's incredibly interesting.
It's so hard to follow, like, they're all, like, just so good at it.
Yeah,
It's
but you
amazing.
can't help but feel like the momentum between the players as well, right? And it doesn't even have to make sense. It's just, in a way, watching the numbers and like, oh, is he going to go off frame? Is he going to like blow up or whatever goes on? And
Yeah, there's a
it's-
lot
it's
of like
crazy.
breath-holding moments where like they get hit really far off the screen,
Yeah,
and there's
yeah.
like the magnifier, and you're like,
It's like-
is he gonna make it back onto the ledge?
Yeah.
Like, this is insane. Like,
Yeah,
and then
right.
when they repeatedly make it back onto the ledge, you're like, oh, can he do it again? And it makes it very easy to watch.
A mechanic
and I
in
think-
which is not even in any other game, right? It's so unique and so entertaining.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
think it's
I
in
think,
Brawlhalla, mate.
Oh,
Oh, bro.
don't forget this.
Let's not talk
Yeah,
about
but
that.
like I wish the series was streamed, because
Yep.
coming down to like a 2-2, tiebreaker map, both
Yeah.
on their last stock, both over 100%. Like that would have just been insane to watch. Like that energy that would have been surrounding those players at the time, that would be something else for sure. So yeah.
Yeah, definitely.
Unfortunate for Spud, but like I was chatting to him recently, and he walked away with like a huge amount of experience. He had an amazing time enjoying himself in America. So I'm
Yeah.
super happy that he got to experience it all.
Oh yeah, and like you said, he did amazing results for the practice that he gets. Like if you guys follow him on Twitter, you would see a lot of outcry about can people in Australia please play Sheik, because he doesn't get to practice against top level Sheik players. So then he's coming up against these Americans that get to play against the best of the best every single day practicing this matchup, he finds himself at a disadvantage. So despite already having that, he still did so damn well in those matchups.
I'm super proud of him.
Oh yeah, we all
Absolutely.
And it's like a big
Spuddy
start to like a big year for
is
him.
my
So
buddy.
keen to see what he does next.
Yeah, and
Yeah. Nah.
Genesis 5 just being pretty much like the staple biggest tournament for Smash, right? Like,
Yeah.
our vision, at least the way I see it, like this is the bread and butter for Spud, like moving forward, right? So, I'd love to see him again at one of these things, you know, and
Yeah, like Evo or something, it'd be good.
100%.
Yeah, another large scale event.
Yeah.
Like
Dope.
did amazing. But anyways, moving on with talking about our rosters, we are going to chat about Hacky and our Heroes of the Storm team. The roster specifically has actually not been announced. Hashtag coming soon. But they played in their first tournament. I believe it was last weekend or the weekend before for the first time. I myself didn't get to catch it as I was out. But Steve, were you around for that one?
I watched some of the stream. Yeah, the stream was having a few like technical issues, but yeah, it was pretty good nonetheless. I think those guys, really got to like cut their teeth in some like competitive games that are not scrims. So I think that's good. They look pretty good, and we'll just see how they develop.
Yeah, I think there's way too much downtime for heroes. I mean, it's probably appropriate, but it just feels like I haven't seen Hacky in action for like far too long. So it was
And
really
if you-
exciting to see him get back in.
Well, you can catch Hacky in action pretty much every night on his stream, Matt.
Oh, that's
can.
hot.
Yeah, you like that seamless
Um,
plug, dude.
Oh,
So-
Hacky,
Raise your noob. Raise your
Before
noob
we move on, Will's got a question about are the DS crew rolling out to Garden of Might in March? So Garden of Might is a fighting game tournament out in New Zealand. So what do you reckon? You guys want to go to New Zealand?
Oh,
Here comes ooh, I'm gonna stay home.
the shifts come up, boys. What's going on? No.
Oh, man.
I want to be there, right? I 100% want to be there. I just got to book the tickets. I got to see, what ZG's up to. I think I asked Xavier a while ago, and I don't think he was available. But I'll ask him again, and again until he says yes. Yeah, so I definitely want to be there. It's not really. I'm gonna be there, right? I'm gonna be there.
Yeah.
Is that a Standing Fierce event? The Standing Fierce? Is that
Yeah,
Standing
that's right.
Fierce?
That's right.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Cool beans. I'd like to see. I hope that Standing Fierce gets some like CPT ranked events. Those guys work so damn hard.
What
Yeah,
happened the
definitely.
last time we went to New Zealand, Matt?
Oh,
Last
here
time we
go.
went to New Zealand,
We walked
talking
away
about this
as
millennium or what?
champions. Walked away as champions. I don't think I can go to New Zealand without winning a tournament.
Yeah,
I
that's
have
right.
I have 100% win ratio in New
So
Zealand.
you're never going back? Is that what you're saying? You're not going to be at Garden of Might? Is that what you're saying?
Maybe,
I don't-
probably.
One thing I don't miss about my New Zealand trip was staying in that youth hostel. God, that was some seedy times.
Gandalf and the boys. All right.
Oh, God.
So
The bed bugs.
Okay, so next topic. Let's talk a little bit about Gfinity. It's been around for a while. We haven't laid too many thoughts out about it.
talking about like the contender series, right?
Yeah. I mean, we got to talk a little bit about it in like our pilot episode where it was just about what we actually think of it as individuals. But now we've had the chance really to see Somniac and some of our other players play it out and actually see what it's all about. I mean, I'm sure you guys have been seeing it on Twitter too.
I think before we get like too deep into it, like my biggest gripe with the whole thing, I think it's amazing, I think it's a great idea, is just no stream. And I know how much extra logistics that adds to it. You need to find like streamers, casters, have a schedule, have to keep to it. It just extends the overall time that you're playing. You get a lot done if you're just playing your game than moving on. So I understand all that, but it would be nice even if they could follow some of the bracket with some type of stream, because it just adds so much more impact to what's going on.
Yeah.
That's my thoughts on it.
I feel like not having a stream is really making it hard to bridge the gap between contenders now and the Elite Series, because the contenders right now is essentially like the step before you get drafted into the Elite Series. And without
It'll
having
become the
any
Elite
thoughts
Series, right? Like people that from contenders get drafted, so they effectively become the Elite Series.
Yeah, and I think because there's no exposure in that regard, like Elite Series is like something like 7 to 8 weeks a season. I feel like they're just missing so much time, and like I'm not telling them how to do their job. I'm just saying it's really like I'm finding it hard to really get hyped up about it, to get excited, and I feel like it's necessary to bridge that gap from one step to another.
And keep in mind as well, like, sure, you can see Somniac winning every week or however many weeks he's won. I think he's like up to 2 in a row at the moment, and you can appreciate, oh, he's a good player, but without actually watching him play the game and watching the other person play, you have no idea how close the series was, how many clutch moments happened in that game. Was it like all of a sudden someone just switched on and bodied the other kid, or was it just like a one-sided slaughter? You miss out on so much of the story because so much gets untold. So I think in like this day and age, it's kind of necessary if you really want to be the best. And I assume that's what they want to do.
Our Rocket League boys were saying that like, oh, there's so many times that they were like they'd win in overtime or lose in overtime, and those situations.
There's just
like,
no proof.
Well, it's not about the proof, but those moments just go to waste.
Proof's in the
right?
pudding.
There's some of like they're like some of the most hyped moments in esports, and like they're the ones that you drive home with, and you sell it on future fans. It's like the closest of moments, but
it's wasting opportunity to build storylines. Like the thing is, when one of the community members in Rocket League streamed our match against Chiefs in that grand final, where we went to overtime and lost.
I thought you were gonna die watching that, Westy. I haven't heard someone squeak that loudly before.
Like I actually forgot what it was like to support like a Rocket League team like live. Like it had been a minute since our team had been broadcasted in something sort of official. And I just think like all of these cups that are going on, like it's just wasted like viewership.
Potential, dude.
Yeah, that's right. Like, like Steve said, it makes you like realize how close these things are. Like without the broadcast, the team can go, 4-3 close series, and you don't really appreciate that until you can watch it live and actually sweat. Like, yeah.
We did sort of get a slice of that, right? Like we've been seeing some Rocket League Gfinity streams, and I'm pretty sure we're all in the same.
That's all independent. though, right?
That's okay. That's good too. I just want to watch.
I'm totally on board with that. Like I think people that's how if you do want to be like a shoutcaster or a streamer, this is the perfect opportunity to do so. You find a game or a show that isn't being broadcast, and you do it yourself. And so this is like a gold mine in that sense. There's someone who wants to make themselves, make a name for themselves as a shoutcaster. It's a perfect time to do so. You find the game that you want to get into. You found a pretty much untapped stream where you can control the viewership and the content. So go for it. More people should be getting out there and doing it.
Exactly, and I think there's nothing but good things to say about the idea of broadcasting more matches to really get the full scope and context of it. But I mean that's pretty much Gfinity in a nutshell. Where we're at with it at the moment. Of course, plenty of plans to come as well. I want to jump on the side.
Going for the
I want to jump on the side of Overwatch now. Those guys have been quietly on the grind, getting things done, left, right, and center. Now they've started things off in the Overwatch Open League, but there's also been a couple of changes along the way.
Is it another thing that's not being streamed? This isn't being streamed either, is it?
No, it's not.
Wow.
It's not.
If you just go back, if you're watching like the VOD, just go back 10 minutes, listen to that rant, and then start from here, because that's the exact same thoughts. Exact same thoughts and qualms. But on to, let's put a magnifying glass on how our Overwatch team is doing then, Matt.
Yeah, so again, unannounced, similar to HOTS, but it's public knowledge now that we have some roster changes to our Overwatch team. Graphics, our beloved captain and support, has now rotated into a coaching role with the team. Our beloved Nesty, who is always getting clipped on and always.
I love Nesty.
Yeah, absolute insane Genji. He is stepping down for personal reasons. Busy with university and stuff like that. So we've actually adopted a 7-man roster. So we've picked up CKM, Molotov, and Locust. Locust being our sub. So the roster looks pretty stacked. It's full of experience. Again, the official statement isn't out yet, but the boys are playing through the Overwatch Open Division, which unfortunately isn't broadcasted. But I think they copped their first loss against Kings on the weekend. But yeah, it's still looking very promising.
Yeah, and it's sort of like a precursor to what we can expect for contenders, right? Just more and more matches going on and on. Difference being, hopefully, is the idea of broadcasting and streaming, right? So, I mean, if anyone around the table, maybe we can lay down like some 2 cents about, just the Overwatch scene in general, but maybe about what we can expect having the contenders coming in as well.
Yeah, well, like with Blizzard backing contenders with 3 seasons this year, I don't think we'll see any third parties taking host for anything with Overwatch. I think while Blizzard is backing any esports title, it's always going to be safe to be a part of, and it's always going to be a community that will be looked after. I know there's sort of some debate whether or not that support came quick enough, but I enjoy the scene. I think it's a very passionate scene. I think there's a lot of opportunity now with Overwatch League. I think those players that were on the fence whether or not they should be pursuing this or not will definitely decide if they are now, because if you are a top contenders team doing well, you're very much in the eyesight of all the Overwatch League teams, and from there you can get that fat paycheck and that stability overseas. So
yeah, and I guess that's really the whole concept of it, right? Contenders contend. So
yeah.
Come on, mate. I'm only taking it literally.
What a keen insight from Deadline yet again.
Come on, guys.
Contenders contend.
Contenders contend,
All
guys.
right. I mean, like, they're doing some things right, they're doing some things wrong. I guess you can only hope that it gets better and not worse.
That's right.
Oh, Lord.
All right.
Yeah.
I want to move on
Overwatch,
now. Oh,
okay.
if you have something to
I was
say.
going to say Overwatch is done, man. Let's put that one behind us. Contenders gonna contend, man.
Yeah.
I
What
think
else is there to say?
is that
That's all I gotta
Is
say.
that the new hashtag? Is that the new DS hashtag? Contenders
Gonna contend.
Oh man.
I'm trying to swim, but it's just I'm sinking, lads. I'm
Dude.
sinking.
Swimming in a pool of L's.
Yeah, it's hard to swim when you chain L's to your legs, dude.
Alright, transition.
All right, yeah. Look,
We announced this fortnight. We announced our Rainbow Six Siege roster. Very exciting. I saw a few of the boys in chat here. So,
Yep.
The ex Corvidae roster, with a few new members from there. Very exciting times. What are your thoughts on the pickup, Rogie?
Well, a great pickup. I think that game is amazing, and I can't believe how long we were sleeping on it. Not even as an esport, but just as a game to play with your friends. I have been having so much fun on Rainbow Six, so I can definitely see where other people can go in, play this game, and think, okay, this is what's going to happen with this.
yeah.
Absolutely.
For me,
Steve, thoughts?
yeah. Go ahead, Steve.
Thoughts? I don't know if you guys remember, but the last time we did like something like this, like the little pilot episode before the 2017 year thing, we had that question like, which game's gonna pop off the hardest? Do you guys remember the answers that you gave?
I think Overwatch. I think I said Overwatch.
You think you said Overwatch? There was
Yeah.
like
I think I
PUBG
said,
thrown around.
I
Do you
think
remember
Matt
what
said-
my
Heroes
answer
of the
was?
Storm.
I
Do you
think
remember
Matt- I
what
think
my
Matt
answer
said
was?
Rocket League, and I said PUBG, and I think
You
Yeah,
said
you're
Minecraft,
Steve.
Steve.
Minecraft? Not quite.
I think Steve said The Division. I think Steve said
Yeah.
competitive
Yeah, yeah.
division.
Steve,
Yeah, all
Steve
that.
said Steve said Rainbow Six Siege is going to pop off in Australia this year,
I
and
remember
it was completely not staged. Like, there's no collusion going on here. I did not accept like a paycheck under the table, but lo and behold, we're in Rainbow Six Siege, and it's looking good.
Yeah.
I'm pretty happy
it's-
about it because not only is it cool and fun, and I enjoy the game. I hit Gold 1 yesterday.
Woo! Good job.
Not only that, but I was also right, which is also cool.
yeah.
But it's a fun game to watch, and the guys are really nice and they're cool, and I'm enjoying like playing the game with them.
Yeah.
And I'm so keen to just see how the year plays out. You know, like going to these
Oh, yeah.
lands and
Yeah.
It's
becoming
looking,
better friends with the guys.
it's looking so good. Like, I haven't felt like I feel really excited with these guys coming on board. Like, they're just great people to be around. The game is just so much fun to play, and I suppose another point to even make is like when these events come round, like that's where DS flourishes, man. Like, those events are just the best experiences you could possibly have. Sometimes for players, it can be one of the most straining and, you know, like intensive moments. But then when you look back in hindsight, it's just also
Cheeky
incredible.
Steve.
And I feel the exact same way, like in a management position, right? It's important that those players feel the best, like just play the game the best they can. But at the end of the day, those events are just sick. So sick.
It feels like I can't even remember the last event I went to. Was it HOTS? It feels like it's been so long, man. I'm like overdue.
You're missing out. You're
I'm
missing
like
out.
shaking. I like need to go to an event.
Yeah, I'm
man.
singing.
Mm.
Like the roadmap for R6, like while the game's good, like at the moment it's all I play. It's all of us play it. So I think that's why we're in a honeymoon phase for sure. Because I love the game. I love watching
Yeah.
it. And
Dude, wait till we
yeah,
get sick of it and watch these contracts go from
No, that's not how we operate.
6 months to
Don't
down to
keep
like,
saying
oh yeah,
this.
2 weeks and a hat, boys.
Yeah, so,
All right, so we got 32 minutes into the first podcast before we crash and burn. Thanks, Max.
but
Dude,
no,
this-
I'm reeling it back in. So the game has a really healthy roadmap. Like it's supported by Ubisoft. They do great content. If you slept on the R6 esports theme, you probably missed it. But they've done some really good content with Athletico, Corvidae, and Mindfreak when they've gone on all the LAN events. I think the structure is very good. It's similar to Counter-Strike. So you have your ANZ lands, which get you to your APAC lands, which get you to your international majors. I think everything about it is good. The players are, like you guys already mentioned, the players are really nice and they're really down to earth, and it's fun already being able to queue up with them and build that friendship. So I think they'll be a very good addition to the organization.
yeah,
Yeah,
sure,
definitely.
dude.
Agreed.
We're only going to grasp that more with event around the corner, and we can safely say that with just how well Ubisoft did their last season, right? So looking really forward to it. Let's talk a little bit more now. We touched on HOTS a little, but there's also those qualifiers coming up. So, in fact, have we actually? No, we haven't been through them yet. They're coming up, but
Talking about HOTS, right?
So HGC qualifier.
This is for the preseason qualifier for the HGC 2018 season. I think split one. There's 2 splits this year. I think registrations closed like an hour ago or something like that. So I think it's all locked up starting tomorrow. So, yep. Hopefully
Really
we can
exciting.
see some games. Hopefully it's broadcast. I haven't actually looked at the details just yet. So
HOTS are pretty good at that.
Yeah.
They're pretty good at covering. Like just
I hope
the
Hacky
scene.
gives me a. Hacky needs to give me a Hanzo game. I really need a Hanzo game out of Hacky.
Hanzo game? Well,
Dude,
the
Hanzo-
last time I played quick match with Hacky, he threw while riding the arrow into 5 dudes.
Dude,
and then blamed me for it.
That's what I'm about. Hacky, let's go. Let's go.
The big surfs up Hacky. But yeah, it should be good, and I'm keen to watch the guys play. And yeah,
Hopefully they qualify. Otherwise, they're going to be handing those boys some of those 2-week contracts with a hat.
Yeah, right.
Oh,
wow,
Dude, that's
not how we treat players. I know it's a good
How we
joke,
treat-
but
how we treat
Hacky emojis in the chat, lads. Let's line her up.
Yeah.
Hacky
Line them
emojis.
up.
Yeah, dude.
Turn
What,
up.
what are we giving? What are we giving Benji for all his hard work, man? A hat and maybe some stickers. Maybe.
A whole bunch of
That ended
backhanded
shipping is
compliments.
rough, dude. That ended shipping is rough. Maybe you can just have what do you call it? Screensaver or something.
Did you see his tweet, man? He got that car that we sent him for doing that.
Oh,
yeah.
yeah, but we didn't have to import that. We
Thanks,
just bought
Mazda. It was fun working with you. You know, if you want to
Yeah.
work some more, just let us know at Darksided, at Dark_sided. So speaking of Benji, Benji and Jasmine joined us for our social media team, our new little, for our new social media team. What do you reckon?
Yeah.
So far so good, or?
If you wonder why Darksided Social is good now, that's probably why.
Thanks, Benji.
If you
And
wondered
And
why
Jazz.
episode was spelt wrong in one of the tweets, that's why we have a social media manager, because none of us can be
Yeah.
trusted to do our own tweet because we're stupid.
There's a clear indicator with our tweets. If it's a good tweet, it's by Benji or Jazz, and if it's a trash tweet, it's done by Deadline.
I feel like
He had a
it's
bit-
fair
I like it
share
how
of
Max
that
started with
tweet.
like, oh, we're all in this together, we'll all cop the L, and then West is just like, oh, by the way, Deadline's just an idiot, and like, that's it.
Well, look,
He had a bit of an episode earlier, sorry.
Oh.
episode.
Yeah, look, we haven't been hearing the end of the Benji and Jazz management team podcast because, in a way, they're management too. So they've
Deadline borderline dyslexic.
wow.
All right. Yes.
Woo! So I mean,
Lance in the chat,
jumping
let's
back
get
to that, thought, with the podcast, we want to bring in
Yeah.
people from Darksided in the future. So we started off with the 4 of us at the moment, but next week Steve may want to have a week off, or I may want to have a week off, and we will start bringing in people like, from the org, whether it's a Rainbow Six guy or one of our fighting boys or Benji or Jazz. So it keeps the variety up. It lets you guys not get sick of us because
New POVs.
yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
something like that.
I think variety is the most important reason behind that. Is seeing Deadline. What are you doing, mate?
Sorry, mate.
What's going on, Deadline? What's going on?
Forgot about
man? What's going on, man? Hey, we're back.
Hey, there you go. I'm just doing great. man.
Deadline has the last laugh. Yeah, I'm all with
Jesus.
you, Deadline.
Oh, can we
my
get?
gosh.
You're slowly but surely ridding yourself of all responsibility by just being incompetent.
What?
Alright,
Whoa.
moving on from Deadline's L's, we have got Dystopia, a new boy that's working with the social
New
media
boy.
and creative team. Yeah, he's one of the new boys.
New
Yeah,
boy.
well,
For those who aren't
new
aware,
blood.
we have got Fortune and Alex, who are our
Yep.
creative team, and Dystopia is joining them to do some video effect stuff, but also closely working with Benji to get the execution out. So yeah, nothing's been up just yet, Darkside related, but I know that guy's got something really good cooking. So
Yeah.
Something in the
Really
works.
excited. yeah, that's right.
I mean, if you just look over some of the work he's already done, right, it's just incredible stuff, and I want to
It's
see,
great.
I want to see that in the DS through the DS visors, as you could say, mate. Get that DS.
You could
thing.
say that.
Yeah,
You
and
could
I
say-
have, Max. I've actually said that, so as you know, content is content.
Contend is contend.
Nah,
Oh man.
I want to see what's
But-
cooking. So let's see it.
Well,
Yeah,
fast-
probably some
fast forward.
snags.
Last,
So,
we're covering.
Dude, you
everything in
guys
the
need
Fortnite.
to learn how to do a transition, man. Or you guys fast forward and moving on and
and Star Wipe.
Yeah, next slide.
Next,
That's
next
me
slide.
using Vegas Pro and taking all these video events and Star Wipe and Star Wipe.
Oh man, yeah, I'm gonna have to teach you boys how to do a smooth transition onto the next thing.
All right, so
Please.
transition us to like what's next with Darkseid and like the next Fortnite. What do you reckon? What are we gonna do, Max?
All right, where are we up to?
We got some announcements of announcements.
Here we go. Yeah. So look, fast forward, moving on and looking into the
That's
future. We got the Overwatch League. We all were super excited to see this massive project that Blizzard had been working on for what seems like an eternia. All these huge brands giving up their branding in favor of city names. It seemed like madness when it was first proposed to everyone who worked so hard to build a brand. Yet all of a sudden, here we are seeing teams like Dallas Fuel and Houston Outlaws, Seoul Dynasty, and you're like, oh, who are the teams behind those? It doesn't matter, because at the end of the day, you're still rooting for these teams, and I think it went off without a hitch.
Yeah, 100%. Like,
Yeah.
I can't really get behind each of the city names and the teams and things like that, because there hasn't been enough time to really, build those bridges. But like you watch,
Give me an Australian team, and I'll get behind it.
yeah. But you watch any of those games, right, that are being broadcasted? It's every single one of it, just entertaining, fun, intense. Like I was just back behind Overwatch in a second at that point. You know what I mean? So far out.
I think.
it's blown up.
I mean, we have got 2 Aussies in the league. If you didn't know, we got Custer, who's one of the players in Dallas Fuel.
Yeah.
Local Adelaide residents. Deadline.
Rep.
And
let's
we also
go.
have Gumba. So he was on the blank roster, living in Taiwan, but from Australia. And he is, I believe, an analyst for LA
Valiant? Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah, so very cool. Yeah.
So
I guess the important
going around
question
the
is-
table. Oh, you go. I think you're gonna ask the same question as me.
Yeah. Who's your favorite team?
Come on.
Yeah,
guys.
right.
Yeah. All right, Steve, you start.
Alright, so I said before the league started that I like Dallas Fuel.
Yeah.
I like their logo,
Yeah.
Mm.
and I'm sticking with it. I still like the logo.
That's as far as it goes, lads.
Yeah. We'll leave that there.
Alright.
Dude,
What
similar
about you,
vein in that regard. I really like the Shanghai Dragons logo. I really like their color scheme. I got the skin for Orisa, but I haven't been able to watch the games as I've been like they're always on during work because I just follow whatever's going on via Twitter. And it just seems like there is a lot going wrong behind closed doors for the Shanghai Dragons. I hope they sort their stuff out soon because it sounds like a very unhealthy place to be right now. Still, I'm gonna barrack for those boys and hope that they turn it around.
Westy?
Absolutely. What about you?
Cool.
Oh, okay.
Go ahead.
My
mate.
favorite team has to be the New York Excelsior. I think it's just my favorite because New York is probably my favorite city from when I went to America.
Yeah.
But if you've paid much attention to the content side of things, the New York Excelsior just have really good content. Their YouTube channel. I mean, every team is doing content, but I just find theirs is the best. I think it's really captivating. And they have really good players, so it's really good.
They do have the worst logo I think I've ever seen.
Yeah,
It looks like
that's
something.
why-
It looks like something that you would make in Halo 2 Emblem Maker. Like
Yeah,
that's the best way I can see. I feel like it's actually in there.
Come
I feel like
on.
you could
Halo
make that
2
emblem in Halo 2 Emblem Maker.
You
It's
try
a
and
really good logo.
you try and get
It's time
some
to
of the
boot up Halo
colors.
2. It's time to boot up Halo 2. Let's get on like the old.
Dude, we could do it.
Bungie.net.
We could do it, man.
Where's Bungie.net, man?
Get
Yeah, it's,
like
it's not.
the background
Anyway,
and some
deadline?
symbols to be the same color, you know. Anyway, yeah. Look, I don't have a whole. No one's really my favorite or anything. That I'll just throw in Houston Outlaws just because of the whole Optic fame thing. Those guys are. Like, I love watching it. Anything pretty much Optic related.
So
but there's just
Yeah.
I like.
yeah.
I like that you mentioned that it's the Optic squad. So kind of at the
Yeah.
start when I was, bringing us into this Overwatch segment, I talked about how the brands have actually nothing to do with the organization themselves. So I want to go around and ask how many of these teams do you actually know the organization behind?
Oh.
Westy?
So you got Houston Outlaws is Optic Gaming owned.
Yep.
You got the Florida Mayhem, which is Misfits.
Okay.
London Spitfire is Cloud9. Dallas Fuel is Team Envious.
Keep doing it, boys.
And you have got.
He's doing his homework, but how far can he go, boys?
So that's like what,
I'm
4 out of
actually-
12?
I'm pretty sure that's all of them. The rest are like conglomerate owned.
Oh, really?
Maybe, yeah. I mean, like a lot of sports clubs. I'm just trying. Oh, sorry, LA Valiant is by Immortals.
Okay.
Yep, there's another one.
And I believe that would probably a lot of sporting clubs. Like I think the same investment group from NRG has got San Francisco Shock. It is portrayed as NRG's Overwatch team, and that would be the
Right.
6th one there. But I think the rest are.
You did pretty good. I'm impressed.
Yeah, I only knew
Yeah.
the Envious, Optic, and Immortals. I didn't know Cloud9 with the London Spitfire.
I didn't know Envious
nor
were.
Misfits with Mayhem. So I'm actually very impressed with that, Westy. Good work.
I reckon
Uh,
I feel the association most with Outlaws. Maybe like the color scheme and like I don't know. I just
Yeah.
feel like there's something there.
I think that's the best logo. I mean, I think it's just the most creative. You've got the gun, like the revolvers making the
like a skull.
like the animal. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's just so good. Like I can get behind that just purely with how clever that is.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, much better than the boring New York Excelsior one.
Yeah, 100%. All right.
Yeah, yeah. I mean, week 2, the numbers have been really good. I think it peaked on day 1 at like 380K. Like,
That's
something
so nuts.
ridiculous.
So nuts.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's holding a healthy like 100,000 plus.
Yeah, it's nearly getting as many viewers as Tyler One.
Don't
Yeah.
be like that. I'm really impressed by the stage and like the screen.
Oh,
and
the
stuff.
stage
Actually looks so
is
good.
so good.
I'm sure it would be like
incredible.
way better in person.
It was built
Oh,
for
yeah.
this, right? Like
Oh, no.
specifically built
Yeah.
for the Overwatch League.
Yeah.
Like that's so nuts.
It was, dude.
That's so nuts.
I believe coming into season 2, and I can't remember if this is true or not, but they're looking to build a Blizzard studio at each home city. So they're going to replicate that home and away system.
Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
So it'd be like the
So,
Shanghai team is flying.
all
to
the
LA.
teams. Here's something like I've given a lot of thought about, but I don't really know where I stand because obviously you see with League of Legends you have what is it, like roster locking in regards to you can only have 2 international players on a roster.
Right.
Yeah,
So-
you have to have a core squad of 3 from
From the home
or
region.
something.
Yeah, but obviously in Overwatch, that's thrown to the wind. You've got New York Excelsior made up of a completely Korean roster. Obviously, there's only one Korean team being represented, though, Seoul Dynasty. Let's say you were from New York. How do you feel about that? Like, is that?
Yeah.
I don't want to come off as being weird about it, but I'm just curious.
One's a country and one's a city.
Yeah.
So
I totally see what you mean, because if you want to keep the integrity of the league, you want the best players. And
no, I get that. I totally get that. Yeah.
This isn't to discredit like any Australian players, but if Australia got a spot, you would have to wonder, like, are the Australian players going to uphold that status?
Yeah, like if we're getting like a Sydney whatever, are they going to be Australian players, right? Like you'd hope so.
Because the essential thing that you're like, as you're saying, is you could have a Sydney spot that could be filled up with Koreans, and for me, that'd be a hard one to back up. Like you would support it, but it's like you really want to see an Australian roster.
I want to see 100% Australian roster, like all the boys.
Yeah, but I mean, because the talent pool's so big in America,
right.
like it's sort of easy to understand why the New York roster isn't built on just New York players.
And then you've got, I think, London Spitfire are also all Korean, correct?
Yeah.
So,
I believe
like, wouldn't you?
I think they actually resided in London before, though. I could be
okay.
Yeah.
I mean,
So, like, that kind of gets back to, like, it comes back to, like, the main point of, do you think they should have just had 3 teams from Korea representing Korea?
Nah.
Nah.
You don't think so?
Because it's city-based, right? You're gonna have.
I mean,
and it's like big
yes.
city-based, right?
Yeah, I know that's the formula they're using, but at the end of the day, the New York team is a Korean team. Like, do you think any of those guys give a shit about New York? Like representing New York, like.
They better. New York's paying the bill. No, I'm kidding.
Yeah,
like as a New York citizen, it would be hard to look at the New York Excelsior roster and like resonate that that's my team.
Yeah,
like it's got the name, but then you look at other traditional sports where like Australian footy teams are like grabbing players from New Zealand and stuff like that, and the NFL and stuff are poaching players. So like like there's that thing like this is wrong because I don't follow sports, but it's like you have the Brisbane team, which is made up of like every player that's not from Brisbane, you know what I mean? So but people still get behind it. So it could be a time thing, like I think people like supporting their team when it wins too. So if New York Excelsior keeps doing some upsets, I'm sure like the New York fan base will be getting behind it.
Yeah, I think it just takes time. I think that comes with time. Eventually the team does well and they're representing your city, you'll get behind that and you'll cheer for that roster. I just think at first it's probably going to take a lot to get off the ground. Because eventually they will be like so embedded into it.
Yeah.
Okay, agree.
I wouldn't let. I personally don't think, like, in a way, just the main city roster stuff is just more on a gimmick side, if you ask me. Like, it's just sort of a nice little feature to the league. Like, it really is a way up between competitive integrity and just like national pride, right? Like the idea of every country has to have their representatives. Then it may start messing with the integrity. So, all I'm for is the best Overwatch there is in the world. And if they want to throw cities into that, go right ahead. I'm cool with that.
I think the ideal.
Totally agree.
I think the simple ideal is they just want brands that people can get behind. And, like, it goes back to anything. Like, if you're from New York, you want a brand to support. Like you think of, like, NRL here in Australia. Like, you grow up supporting the Roosters or something.
Yeah.
When you're 10, that Rooster lineup is going to be completely different to when you're 20, but you still support that brand over that, that's your brand. So yeah, we'll see how it goes.
It's a pretty good point too. I want to quickly throw this in the pot as well. Like, if Overwatch wants to try and reach a wider demographic or look, stretch outside esports, going this sort of city-based route is great because it's something someone can get behind. I mean, it's not a great reason, but it's a reason, right? So
yeah, if I was like new to a sport, like any sport, I'd just naturally be behind the Melbourne team because Melbourne, the boys. Like, why not?
So to later find out
like
they're
a good
all from
idea,
like
right?
Sydney or something, but you're there.
But I don't.
Makes sense,
by
right?
then, I'm already like sold on it. They're already my
100%.
team. I've already made that decision where like that's my team, and I don't think people like, especially maybe adults, they don't really change teams much. Like for traditional sports, they don't really like decide to do that. Kids maybe
No,
like
that's
they follow
like-
like the winning team, but
That's their blood.
Yeah, sports. Yeah, that
they
kind of stuff
carry
is
that
ingrained
even
in
if
you as
it's like
kid.
even if it's like a stain, right? I know my dad's like a Richmond supporter, right? So it was like 20 years of losing, and then we won this or they won. Yeah, I said we because I was kind of born into it without really
Yeah.
any choice.
It makes that win so much sweeter after.
Dude,
Like,
I'm telling you, that was like end of September last year. It's still on the fridge. The poster that comes in the newspaper, it's still on the side of the fridge.
Yeah, and I mean that's
I'm
essentially
gonna put a dark sided
the
poster
fandom.
over the top. Like I swear.
That's the fandom that they're going for, right?
Yeah.
Is like if someone, what you said, your dad's been supporting for what? How many years? 20 years? Did you say, Steve?
Longer than I've been alive, and I'm
Yeah,
like
like
99.
if your dad's been supporting this team for 20 years and they're copping L's every other day, yet he's still supporting them and it's still his team. I think that
They've
is
been
like
copping
the
L's for like
perfect-
25 years.
Yeah,
You know?
that's like the perfect definition of fandom. And if that's the route that Blizzard want to undertake with the Overwatch League, then it's probably the right one to do so.
Yeah.
Because you look at
yeah.
like League of Legends. Like I was a CLG fan for so long. That was like my squad. I remember back in season 1, 2, and 3 with Hotshot GG on there. I was like, this is incredible. I really like this player. I like this whole team. But then, you know, the roster got more and more diluted. Teams started mixing up. And even though I still was going to CLG, I didn't actually even know the players on that team anymore. It was just, I was going for CLG because I've been a CLG fan. And I thought to myself, you know, as long as Hotshot GG is still somewhat involved with CLG, I'll go for CLG. So
Yeah.
they've
I
been
think
copping
it's-
some big L's lately.
It's important for like general consumers in esports to build a relationship with an org, and for the org to make that possible. Because
Yeah.
ultimately, because esports is so fast moving, you know, rosters get poached, rosters break up. You need people to be fans of your org before anything else. You know, that can come from players, but you want to give them a reason to stay around because it's such a fast moving scene. You're not going to have that same roster for long. Like the rosters come and go, so
Yeah.
it's super important. Yeah.
All right. Well, look, we've spent all night as well talking, and we haven't mentioned Steve's fresh threads that he's wearing right now. What better segue to talk about that jersey?
You talking about the jersey?
Yeah, boy. You know, we've been in a lull, mate. No one's been able to get their hands on these things. What's going on?
It's been a while. We missed like a Christmas opportunity there, which is pretty. I'm gonna look.
We were
let's
having
not
too
point
much fun on the Gold
Let's
Coast,
not
Steve.
point
Hey.
We
fingers.
had too much fun on the Gold Coast.
Let's not point fingers, but it was Steve's fault.
Oh, come on.
Yes, I agree.
Oh, okay.
So if you're upset,
No.
Other way.
you're like
Yeah.
disappointed. You put. Oh, I'm like.
'Cause it's-
Wait, no, there we go.
Yeah, because it's different. You've got the cameras arranged differently, Deadline, on the stream than it is on the Discord.
Yeah.
doesn't matter. Doesn't matter.
It's his fault. Where's you pointing at me? What's going on, brother?
If you're upset at like Santa for not bringing you a jersey, like I totally understand, but it's not his fault. It's my fault.
Yeah.
So we're gonna get it sorted real soon. I can't give you a timeline because you know it's an announcement of announcement. I can't really give you
yeah.
too much
14th of
information.
February.
14th of February, Valentine's Day, just in time to get one for the one you love. What do you reckon, boys?
Yeah,
Oh,
absolutely.
damn.
A little
All right.
special for
Well,
me, so.
there you guys have it. I think we'll probably do it on the 14th of February.
There you go.
Mm.
We got some more merch in the time, like in our feed, in our
Yeah, like
timeline,
this one. If
No,
you
that
use
is
your
not
hand-
Dark Side.
If you want to
Look
use
at
your
that
hand,
bootleg
it's
merch.
limited edition.
Get
Dark
this guy
Side
out of
water
here,
bottle.
man. He's making profits. What's going on?
That's some bootleg stuff.
There's some
going
real,
on there.
there's some real threads right there.
But yeah, we got stuff coming specifically for winter. So if you're keen on like an alternate design hoodie or possibly a zip jacket, don't tell anyone. But I'm working
Steve,
on it. Yo,
We have a very important question in the chat. It's from our own young Alex, the graphics
Alex,
designer.
AAD. Yep.
And he has asked the very important question of when are the dad hats dropping?
Oh,
Never.
Dad had
It's
something.
happening. It's happening,
Ever.
lads.
It's
No,
happening. It
Anna.
needs to happen.
It's
It
inevitable.
needs to happen.
Is, I am embargoing it.
Embargo.
We've got all right. So as you can see, we got
We've got a split board.
because
Yeah.
I
What's
might be
the
old enough
point?
to wear a dad hat, but it's not my thing. Matt's
need it.
definitely not on board. But we've got both Matts. I think
Yeah.
maybe it's the
Wasting
problem
money.
that people
Nah,
named Matt,
nah.
but Look,
Who wants a dad hat, man? Put it in the chat, please. Please save the idea.
hit us up on Twitter, Darksided on Twitter. Let us know. Just
Oh,
be like,
dude.
yo, we need the dad hats, and
How a
we
DS
get enough dudes.
scarf, dude. A DS scarf. Now that's an
Look,
idea. Man. That's
I'm
an
not
idea.
even
I
kidding
would-
you. I've been looking at everything merch related.
Dude,
I'm looking
DS
like
Beach Town, man.
So I'm gonna
Ooh.
let you in on a few secrets here. I'm looking to do like sticker packs. So if you want to see like a hacky sticker, a hacky face sticker,
Oh no, I don't.
He's getting
or
into
even
it.
dude,
Put it on my
if I
vote
could.
again.
So, because like over Christmas, I like sticker bombed my PC with like vinyl stickers. So I want to do like dark-sided sticker packs, and even if it's just like the merch, it's the emojis from our streamers and stuff like that, I'm down. I want to do more stuff with our streamers. Like if they want to push their personal brands, I want to do that. I've been looking like at things like key rings, so like rubber key rings. I don't even, where are my keys at?
See, man, you can't deny my dad hat, but then offer key rings, man. Come
Yeah, that seems a little bit, what's
A
going
key
on.
ring.
I got this Goku key ring from Hong Kong. It's like rubber. And I want to do like a dark-sided eagle one, but I got to make it
That's
happen
alright.
first.
This guy, man.
Um,
This guy.
Yeah.
He's
I
in
think
his-
he's in
all
his
dad
playground
hats
with
are
his
all
toys,
about a
lads.
key ring.
So keen to do some stuff. Like hit me up with your ideas. I've got my own
Yeah.
ideas. We'll
We're
see which
doing,
ones work best and which ones are
We're gonna
viable.
do like a DS amiibo next.
Oh,
You'll be able to
damn.
use that on Nintendo.
You can
and
plug it
Smash
into your.
Brothers character.
Oh, imagine that! You can plug it into your PS4 and it can throw my Street Fighter games for me because I can't.
Yeah,
run
like
it.
a DS
Yeah.
little portable speaker.
That'd be
so you can
godlike.
listen to our podcast on your little speaker.
All right, that's enough. All right, that's enough. Let's
Yeah,
not give away
dude.
every idea.
New boot by DS, man. DS boots.
Stop your opponents.
Plenty of
Dust
merch to come down
boots.
the pipe.
DS.
Yeah! Stop your opponents! Hell yeah, dude!
All right, never mind. All right, come on, boys. I reckon it's time for some questions. What do you reckon? We've been
Yeah.
talking for like an hour now, but we haven't been interacting with the chat.
Yeah, we said we'd do our best, but really, I mean,
That's been talking
Well-
nothing but rubbish, man. Ask good questions.
I mean,
you'll get
Morton
answers.
here is asking for DS underwear, so there's plenty of
DS
time.
tissues?
Dude,
You gotta
come,
stop
get out of
that.
here
You
with
gotta
that.
get
That
out.
says
DS
SD,
tissues,
mate.
man?
Oh, SB. It's so brutal. You're
Dude, if you want
Cruising,
DS
mate.
merch,
You're
DS
riding a
merch,
fine
why
line
even
here.
bother? Why even bother coming to our website? Just
No.
tweet me, and I'll get you the finest DS merch. I've got my DS
Nah,
brand
this is not going
Sharpie
on,
here,
lads.
and I'll
come on, Max.
and I'll make you whatever you need. You want something DS? What do we got here, boys?
Alright, so guys, if you do have any questions, throw them in. We're going to be spending the next little while having a look through there. I mean, it's been a wild ride so far. 1 hour, not too bad. We've had a couple of questions come along. Now I want to see them come back up so we can really get into the meat of it. So, yeah, I mean, I wanted to reiterate another point while we wait for those to come in. What we see this podcast as being, right? So right now you can see the four of us, Matt, Deadline, Max, and Steve. That's not going to be a consistent thing. So as weeks go on, we're going to have more and more episodes where we're going to have different guests from the Darksided organization coming in. So you could be seeing one of our players from Overwatch, Rainbow Six, Street Fighter, Rocket League, all kinds of spots. And then we can even look in our creative side, like graphic design, video FX, streaming.
Yeah.
There's so many avenues to go right now, and we really want to explore that the most with this streaming. So stay up to date with it. Follow, all that good shit.
I think
We
our
have got a
boy.
question.
I think our boy Soylent has hit us with a pretty hard hitting question, and if you guys don't mind, can I be brutally honest? Okay.
Look, mate,
Depends.
honesty is how we
I
get
need-
around.
I
You
wanna-
can be very brutal with your honesty, so I'm like real on the fence about saying yes here.
Well, look, I'll get my piece out, and you follow with your brutal. You can put it in the earth.
Yeah, give him some time to load the musket. He might change his mind. So
Alright, yeah, you load that.
Deadline. When did it change my mind? Deadline.
yeah,
Alright, so, we got Spud being asked to come on the podcast. Cool. But
Yeah.
Soylent's
And Falco,
question.
and Falco.
Okay, so I've been pleased to see some of the Darksided CS:GO alumni doing well as they move on to other places. Is there likely to be a new CS team in the future? So firstly, I am also very excited to see Texter and Sterling make it on the Chiefs roster. It makes me very, very pleased. I think both those players were absolutely nuts, and it was only going to be a matter of time before they actually got noticed in that regard. But to answer your question, CS:GO, we love the community. We like all the events around it. We like working with the tournament organizers like ESL and Cybergamer and everything else. I think the culture is really fun to be a part of. I like supporting the game. I like watching the game. I like the storylines, and I like all the top players in the scene.
No one can dispute that it is like one of the premier esports, right?
Yeah,
It's got such a rich history. The scene is so strong, like all that.
But to answer your question specifically, we would be talking to some teams or a team in the scene. Don't know how promising it will be, but we are very interested in CS, so we will always be looking to stay in it. I won't speak on how far those developments are, but I hope they eventuate into something. But I will pass it on to Max because I do know what he's going to talk about. And I'm happy for him to then put it in the
Look, the scene.
Right.
I agree with everything that Matt said, but the scene is so fucking rubbish right now. Like some of the people that are approaching us are literally starting conversations with, "How much money do you have?" Because we want money. Yeah. It's like, I understand that the top players are getting paid ridiculous amounts at the moment, and I'm all for that, for the growth of esports and the growth of these people taking this as potential full-time careers. But have some tact. Learn how to build a relationship before you just come out of the gate swinging, man. Because, like, if we have no relationship between us anywhere down the track, why are we just going to be like, yeah, here's our bank account, go to town, boys? It's like, it's mind-blowing. Yeah. It's really mind-blowing. Yeah. So like Matt said, I love CS. Some of the best moments in DS were watching our CS squad over all three variations playing in some of the most intense games of their life. Like when we were at BAM at Melbourne, waking up at 4 a.m. to watch the boys over in London was actually one of the most insane moments of my life. I love the game. I love seeing all the players we've had do so well for themselves, but just what we've, like Matt said, we've been approached by a few players. We've approached a few players, but some people are just like messaging. It's like, hey, you got money? Darksider got money? I want some money. It's like, fuck off.
To clarify, like, there's one team in particular where we're talking to, and we hope it eventuates. But over the last month, it's essentially been that case. I get emails, I get messages, and it begins with, "Can you offer us this much?" And it's like, hey, I don't even know your first name, dude.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, would you like to have a chat? Like, I understand having the best team in the region is worth a lot. If you're nabbing all of those first, second places, all those international trips, you should be getting paid. Like, I'm all for players getting money and getting paid for what they do. Absolutely. But I don't know, like, maybe people have the image that we confront that, because there is a difference between the typical ANZ salary, which is usually not much, to what some of these top players are getting, which is better than people who go to uni for like 7 years get paid. Like, that's the reality of it. Some of these top teams are making more money than, health professions and stuff like that.
Well, maybe not entirely true, but they're like entry-level engineering wages, right?
Yeah,
something like that.
Pretty much.
The issue really is it's not proportionate, right? Like that's all we can really say. Like in the question of, is salary deserving to these players? Of course it is. It's not about that. It's about where we sit as a scene and where players can be in that position. So I mean, we can get into the semantics of it, like how much worth you can bring and content and being a public figure and all that stuff. But in the heart of just esports and being the best team in the country, yeah, sure, it definitely deserves its numbers, but we've got to get ourselves, as a team. I mean that by the scene, every org, every player, every spectator, we got to be there together, right? So it's in a tricky spot.
Which then leads to, I don't feel like the current state of Counter-Strike is viable. I don't think it's sustainable. I don't think it will come. I think it will come to a point where these brands won't be able to put up with that. And I could be wrong. I don't know what they're like, but at the moment, like, top level CS is missing some pretty good brands. Like, I mean, off the name of my head, to name a few off my head, like Avant and stuff like that. And I hope those guys are obviously looking to jump back into CS. But I hope that it doesn't come to a stage where top level CS is just continuously going to be new brands fronting lots of cash. Like the one reason I liked CS in the first place and enjoyed being in it was being amongst all of these top organizations, which were large
Stop opening stuff.
organizations. You know, they were good for many reasons, not just having a CS team. So yeah, I hope things work out well. But yeah, I guess we'll see.
That was quite the question. I think
Yeah,
we got our,
we've
we got our
really
2 cents
covered
out on that one.
It was a
I think you guys are like brutally honest about it. I
That's
think
the point
the
of the
truth,
podcast,
though.
man.
Yeah,
I think
no,
that's
no,
the point
I
of the
believe it,
podcast,
I
right?
believe it.
Anyone seen anything juicy along the chat throughout that nice little detour?
We had a question about like, is it only us four in Darksided? Definitely not.
Not
We
at all,
have
man.
almost like 30 people under the brand, right? You can check out more at darksided.pro. Pretty good website made by like maybe a chimp or two.
Couple dudes behind the scenes.
Dudes in a room doing their thing.
Or one dude in a room
Yeah.
doing.
Some guy who just plays way too much Division and then sort of like decides to do a website sometimes.
Dude,
And look good.
it's a lot. I put like 20 hours into it over the weekend. It's insane.
I
But
appreciate
anyway,
You got
let's
anything,
not
Mason?
talk about my habits.
I mean, you brought up a good point anyway, right? Just like, is DS just the four of us? Absolutely not. Like Steve said, there's 30 people, and that's something that like I spend a lot of time.
But there's also
reflecting on.
thousands of fans. We're all one big family and team.
Yeah, dude.
Yeah,
And I would
like to be
say we have
specific.
30 friends on the dark side. No, we have 30 friends on the dark side.
Yeah, and
But, but it's more.
From what you see here, like there's 4 of us who work at a quite high level with the org to keep it operating. But I mean, that's nothing unless you have the team. So like Steve said, we've got the 30 plus. We have a creative division who pretty much make the org look pretty. Every graphic you see, every video you see, it's those guys busting their butts. And then you also have our social media team, which is the newly acquired one we spoke about, which is Benji and Jazz, to make sure what we're doing doesn't go to waste.
yeah.
And then we have us at the top, just whipping everyone.
2-week contracts.
Yeah.
Yeah.
2-week contracts, hats here and there.
Yeah.
Dude, I don't
Wait.
even. Where did that meme come from? 2-week
What's
contracts
that?
with hats.
Yeah, dude, I started that. What's made it asking the question, I think, is would
It's heavy, man.
all of you guys go full time DS? I know Matt would in a heartbeat. You've already spoken about you got that 6-month game plan on right now. Your uni's your
Well, I mean, we
fallback.
know that,
That's a plan.
but how many people?
I think you mentioned it last time, but of course
Yeah.
we can reiterate.
My goal would be that I can work on Darksided full time by June, July. I hope. I set goals pretty high. And when I say full time, it doesn't mean making bank. It means paying enough
Living,
to
surviving.
Getting that ramen,
keep the lights
bro.
on and meagerang. Yeah, ramen.
Dude, you guys see that
Um,
fucking super big mattress back there? Nothing but
Yeah.
cash.
Oh, here we go, lads.
So if you're
Big,
playing
big
CS:GO,
ornaments.
just slide into Steve's DM.
Just slide under the Duna, dude. Don't even worry about the DMs.
But I mean, yeah, esports doesn't have certainty to it.
Yeah.
Like Matt's deadline's going to university. Max works full time. Steve works full time. I took a 6-month contract to be a teacher because I think 6 months can hopefully give me the time to get Darksided to a point where we can start paying ourselves more or paying myself enough to stay home full time and work on it, and eventually then Steve and eventually everyone. So that's the goal. I hate going to work knowing that I could use that time on Darksided. It annoys me. I see those kids and I'm like, I know you're here for education, but I wish I was at home working on Darksided. But I mean, that's something I gotta live with.
I suppose you've had the chance, through the holiday period, to really use all that time up, and then when it's delegated elsewhere, you're like, why, But that's just the way things are. I mean, for me personally, right, Matt sort of mentioned going into uni and stuff, right? That's like 4 or 5 years dedication right there. And as far as like DS,
Some way I looked at it.
as far as DS going full time, I mean, of course it's like something I'd love to do. It has a lot of interest, but there's also some grounding facts, right? Like where do we sit in esports? Where do we see myself, the industry, things like that in 10 years, 20 years, such and such. So for me, I think having a uni degree, even if it's to what how much value that really does bring. I think at least something to fall a little back on. So DS full time certainly great, but it can't be everything, at least in my eyes.
Yeah, you can certainly go hard or go home, but I'm glad that I guess each of us will have a fallback. We don't plan to hit the fallback, but at least we do, because there is no certainties. Like, you look at all the big brands like Cloud9 and Immortals and stuff like that, and I guess that's what we're all aspiring to be. And I know some people in Australian Esports do work full time. Advanced got a couple, Chief's got a couple, and Tainter Minds, like that's goals right there. So, and that's just what we're gonna keep working towards.
Exactly. It's almost like
I
it's
think
a small business.
if I were to work on Darksided full time, I'd really struggle with that work-life balance. I think I could see myself just doing that for like, I don't know. It's just like wake up Darksided, go to sleep, probably doing Darksided in my dreams, and then waking up and doing Darksided stuff.
You mean you're not working Darkside in your dream, man? There's a good like 8 hours of
dreaming up merch ideas. Dreaming up merch ideas,
No, so you're like sitting
my
at
Darksided Lamborghini, dude.
You're sitting at your PC, you go to sleep, and now you're just like observing yourself in your dreams at your PC working. That's your life.
Darksided has like 100% crushed my social life, which is okay because it was like pretty small to begin with. But yeah, man, full time, huh?
Yeah, what do you think, Steve? What could you really say about that?
Interesting change of pace for me, I think. I'm not sure. Haven't thought about. I tend not to like put too much daydreaming into something like that until it becomes actually a question of should I or shouldn't I. But yeah, we could definitely see doing part time, right? I think I could effectively do that. Really,
yeah. Like the goal here is like I was doing substitute teaching before last year ended, so I've sort of tossed up with the prospect that I could probably live off doing like sub teaching like a couple days a week, which would free me up to do Darksided. So I kind of regret doing a 6-month teaching contract, like, because
Darksided's biggest growth spurt.
I just felt like I owed it to myself to see what full-time teaching is like, and day one has been good, but I'll probably
day
be
one.
hating myself. Day one.
Yeah, day one, best day of the year, best day of 2018.
What'll happen is you'll become more efficient at like what you're doing in your day job, and you'll be able to find things to sneak in here and there.
Yeah.
Or you just stop sleeping. You just stop sleeping. Like,
Wes, you end up buying that Surface of Ashley, you can start doing some DS work while the kids are colouring in or something.
Yeah, like I get a laptop for free, so that's pretty good. Thanks, Education Queensland.
Oh, but, nice. What type?
But it's like some Dell thing.
Cool.
I don't know. It's not that good. It's pretty.
It's a laptop.
Yeah,
Right.
It does the job.
Let's get Max's 2 cents on this, man. What do you think?
He's grade
no,
1.
I don't think I would do DS full time. Yeah. I have pretty good career prospects with what I'm doing right now, and I want to just keep working hard on that.
For sure.
I respect that.
Yeah.
Definitely. You worked hard for that, so.
Yeah, and
still
you don't. Yeah, right. Got a lot of stuff in the works, so really excited. I'm hoping to eventually like get that kind of like esports life in there as well. Into the Microsoft ecosystem.
Just tie esports in with Microsoft, and
what'll happen is you'll train an apprentice, and then you'll move up into like scouting esports opportunities for Microsoft, where you just like do whatever you want and just look at esports. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, that'd be nice.
Anyway,
one thing I want to ask for the chat is, I want you guys to choose who you want to see next week. Anyone in Darksided. It could be any of the players. It could be any of the staff. But one of us won't be here, so I want you to choose who it is. It could be Nacy, our streamer. It could be
pick one, kick one. Let's go.
Pick one. Hashtag pick one, kick one.
Yeah.
Tweet at Darksided. Tweet at Darksided with your hashtag. What is it? Pick one, kick one.
Pick one, kick one. Yeah. I don't think you can kick Deadline though. As Deadline is going to be the host, I feel like he's got exempt. So don't waste your votes. I know you were going to do it. You can backspace it now. Come on, push the backspace.
How many times has Deadline alt tabbed this thing?
Yeah.
I feel like we could get a new host in order.
I think what we could do is the top 4 asked in the chat. We do a Twitter poll, and whoever gets the most votes will
Alright.
join us. You know.
So I
Maybe?
think I've seen Benji on the high wanted list, right? And I've seen
Yeah, why do
Falco as
people want
well.
Benji on there? Falco,
Well,
man,
look,
I'd love
people
to use
just-
Benji.
You know, people
Oh,
choose
Falco.
things.
Yeah.
I think-
I want to quickly
That
throw
would
in the
be
air as
great.
well. This show can still be done with 4 guests without me. You know, a production can still be run without me on camera. So, you know, it's
Yeah.
plausible. Let's not draw
Damn.
things
Good.
out.
That
too
means we
much,
don't
guys.
need you ever again on the show.
There you go.
I
We've
mean,
got a
Look, I am
Hey.
still in control. I may
Hey,
just
Max,
like delete
Max.
this Mac camera right
Yeah.
now. You know.
we've got a pick Steve, kick Max. So next week it's going to be 2 Steves and 0 Maxes. What do you
I
thought?
mean, if you guys want like melancholy, fucking
Can we just
Like,
have 4
right.
Steves? What about that?
Yeah, let's go.
4 Steves? Wow, I don't think Twitch is not ready for this. Like Tyler one's not ready for that. Just let's not burst his bubble yet.
Oh,
Alright.
we getting Lance in here?
Man, I'd love to. Yeah, look, guys. As much as this has all been fun, pick and kick, you know, we're definitely going to be coming back with another episode in 2 weeks' time. I think 2 weeks' time is a good spot for us to assess what's been going on with DS.
Enough
talk about the
happens in
future.
2 weeks.
Yeah,
Every second Monday, you can catch us here.
yeah, man. And
Damn,
we-
so professional.
we want these
Yeah,
guest-related episodes to sort of be on that sort of same thread as well. So if we're
Dude,
talking
I'd
to a
cop a
player,
Wasminator stream.
yeah, if we're
I'm going Waz.
if we got a player on guest, then we'll probably talk about that game for quite a bit, or at least have it as an underlying theme. So definitely tweet at us what you want to see from us. Anyone in DS who's worked with DS, who's working with DS in some capacity, let's see it. So, I mean, do we have any other signing off notes we want to leave out, lads?
Thank you very much for joining our first podcast. It means a lot to us. I think we were supposed to do this last Monday, but one of us, let's not point fingers again, kind of messed up. So, which way is deadline?
Deadline
He's up.
is-
He's up.
Hey
Up,
man,
up.
when the sushi comes,
think
the
it's
sushi
just
comes, bro. That's all.
Yeah, so like all jokes aside, thanks a lot for joining us on this podcast. Hopefully there's many more to come. Hopefully it's like mild interesting. So please like give us your honest feedback, you know, talk to us about it. Like yeah, everything and anything is great. So thanks.
Yeah, and
Yep. Thanks, guys.
with that being
Yeah, it's
said,
been another great podcast. Loved all the questions. Loved all the topic. Loved all you guys and gals in the chat. And I can't wait to see you next week. Out!
It's next fortnight.
we'll see you in 2 weeks.
Ah!
Guys. Thank you so much. Goodbye.
Good night. Thanks a lot. Good night.
Thanks, guys.